Hi everybody, so I'm back with a recipe video. I haven't actually done a recipe video for ages actually. I can't remember the last time I did one. Summer holidays and just things get in the way, and I've done other videos but I haven't actually focused on the recipe videos. And I've been wanting to do this one for a while now. So this is my raw beet burger. Now before you say anything, it might not sound great, but until you've tried it, like, you know, the saying, don't knock it till you tried it. Literally, don't knock it till you tried it, because it is so tasty and it is so good. And yeah, it's raw. So, and it does, like, even when I've made it for friends, they say it actually, I don't, looks like a burger because of the beet colour. I mean, I'm not trying to make it look like meat at all, because that's not what I want to do. It just ends up replicating that. So anybody who is in that transition of even just going vegan and wants that, you know, they like the Beyond Meat burgers, this could be one you could make to try and help them on that transition, because you know, we eat with our eyes, don't we? So hopefully that could help them. So one of the main things that I do use in this recipe, and I have got other burgers that I've done that don't require a lot of seeds, or no seeds at all, but this one does have a lot of seeds. So I've got sunflower seeds here. So these sunflower seeds, I think I've got about, just check, I think I've got about a cup. No, I haven't, that's a lie. I would say it's like 3/4 of a cup. So 3/4 of a cup of soaked sunflower seeds. So like I do with my nuts, I always soak my seeds as well. And that just helps with the digestion, because they can be a bit tough on that digestion as well. So I'm gonna put the seeds in a food processor, and I'm gonna process them for, I don't know, 20-30 seconds, and then we'll start putting the other ingredients in. So we're just like making them into a little bit of a paste at the moment. Not too pasty because you want some texture, but we're just breaking them down a little bit more. So I've just pulse these for like 30 seconds. You can go a bit longer if you want, but because they have been soaked, it's easy to just break down as well, because they're a lot more softer. So you can have that texture. If you feel like you want to break them down even more, you can do. The one thing, because we are going to be dehydrating these burgers, you can put them in the oven as well. That's absolutely fine. But in the dehydrator, you want to try and, I mean, it depends for yourself really how quickly you want these burgers. Obviously, the more wet they are, the more longer it's going to take to obviously dehydrate. So just bear that in mind. So now we've got the base in there. Now we're going to put our ingredients in. So I've got half a red onion here. That I am just going to cut into small chunks, and then I'm going to put them into the processor. And I've got a courgette. I would usually use celery, but I actually forgot to pick some up. So if you do have celery, then I would add that in. It gives it yeah, the natural saltiness from the celery definitely complements. So so I'm just chunking up my courgette. I've used a medium-sized courgette. You can add more if you want, depending on your yield really. I'm just gonna, because I haven't got my celery, I'm just gonna add a little bit more courgette. And then I'm going to add in, I've got one red bell pepper, so I'm going to use that and just cut that up into chunks as well, just so it's easier for the food processor. Okay, and get that all in there. And then what we're going to do now is we are going to add in the tomatoes. I'm not going to use a lot of tomatoes. I've got some sun-dried tomatoes as well, because like I said, I don't want it to be really wet, the ingredient. Obviously it's going to be a little bit wet, but I don't want it to be too wet, because it'll just take ages to dehydrate. So I don't put loads of tomatoes in, but I am going to cut it down a little bit just to help it. Sometimes I find that with the tomato it doesn't actually pulse that great, so I'm just going to help it a bit more. I think these are romaine that I've got. Are they romaine tomatoes? No, I don't really know what tomatoes they are. That's lettuce, romaine's lettuce, isn't it? What am I talking about? Can't remember. I haven't got the packet anymore, but yeah, the tomatoes, the good decent tomatoes, because you don't want to be using tomatoes that are just not good quality. You get all these salad tomatoes and the quality is just not good because they don't taste of anything. So, you know, if you can spend a little bit more money maybe on the tomatoes, it's just worth it, I think, for the flavour. Just going to use the rest of this pepper. And then the main ingredient, because it's a beet burger, is your beetroot. So I'm not actually going to use all of this. I'm just going to use half of that. So a small bit there. I might add more in, but I think that should be enough. And I do have some sun-dried tomatoes that have been soaking. So I am just going to finely chop these. And again, you know, you don't have to add this in. But for me, adding these sun-dried tomatoes just give another depth of flavour. And obviously being raw, we want the flavour. And I just think it just adds, it elevates it, I think, with the sun-dried tomatoes. So chop them up. Ideally, I mean, I don't use oil in my cooking. I wouldn't say cooking, more creating. So just use the dried ones and then just rehydrate them in a bit of water. So avoid the ones in a jar. But again, if that's what you prefer and you're okay with oil, then go for it. But it all depends why you are on a raw journey. Is it for healing? Because if you are, you want to kind of stick to the as many live foods as possible to help with that journey and that transition. Okay, so now I'm just going to blitz all of this and yeah. Okay, so that's just been in, not for very long actually, it's been in for about 40 seconds. So I'm going to use the rest of that beet because just the colour, I think I've got a bit more sunflower seeds than I usually do actually. So I'm just going to add that in. And then I'll get that pulsing. I might actually pulse it a little bit and then I'm going to start adding the seasoning and the spices and the flavour. So I'll just do that. Okay, so that's what it's looking like now. So I'm just going to put in the spices, all the seasoning. So yeah, a teaspoon of salt, a good bit of black pepper. I'm just tightening that little bit at the top. It's coming off. So yeah, a good bit of black pepper. And then I use smoked paprika. I'm not going to measure it. I'm just going to pour it in. I don't tend to measure. I just kind of do things by eye, really. I have got some mixed herbs here. I do like using oregano actually, but I'm just going to put a little bit of that in. And then I've got some garlic powder here. If you're not good with garlic, then just don't use it. Or onion. I know some people aren't good with onion either, so sorry, this is all dried up a little bit, this garlic. Right, so yeah, just under a teaspoon. And then this ingredient I definitely would recommend using, and that is a teaspoon of cumin. I do a good sized teaspoon of cumin. And then I'm going to put in some paprika as well. Now, depending how hot you want it, don't put too much in basically. I do like to have a little bit of a kick. So just over half a teaspoon I would say is in there. And then what I'm going to add in now is some psyllium husk. So this is just going to help combine everything. So just I would say just a tablespoon I've put in, which is 3 teaspoons, I believe. And then I'm just going to finely pulse that. That's looking good. And for me, I do this at the end. I love coriander. For those who have seen my other food recipe videos, know I put coriander in everything. So and coriander's just great for like heavy metals as well, getting them out of your body. So I'm gonna finely chop this and then just add it into the mixture. But I'm gonna help the food processor do this. So I will finely chop it. Okay, so coriander is all chopped. That is going in. I just love the smell of it as well. It just smells so good. I try and have it in most of my salads every day if I can, because I just love it. Okay, so I'm going to blitz that up one more time, and then I'm going to actually start making them into burgers. Okay, so now I'm just gonna I've got like a burger cutter there, or moulder, or whatever you want to call it, and I'm just gonna start putting it in there. So one of the things with this is just making sure that you are compacting it, because when you dehydrate it, obviously there's like water pockets, it'll just be a little bit flimsy and not like firm. So just make sure you pack it down so that it'll be like feel like quite, not too dense, but a firm burger. And that'll hold its shape as well. I mean, when it's dried, it definitely will hold its shape, and it can last for days. Like, I mean, over 5 days, I would say, once it's fully dehydrated, as long as it's in a tight container. So there's one. There's the thickness. So this is going to be a good size burger, and you know, if you don't want those sizes, you can just not do it as high. So you can just do half of that really if you just want thin burgers. And also for your drying time as well, if you are in a rush and you don't want to take forever dehydrating, then just don't make them as thick. So there's another one. So 2's made, and I'll just do that until the mixture's gone. Okay, so that's all done. So I got 4 out of them. I mean, I probably could have made it to 6 really, but they are quite thick. I mean, look at that size there. You can see how thick they are. But they will start to shrink a little bit as well. And I made a little mini meatball, or meatless meatball, we should say. So yeah, they're going to go in the dehydrator. They'll probably be in there for about 6-7 hours. So I'll probably just leave them in overnight really, and then I'll check how they are in the morning. Yeah, I'll show you the rest when they're dry. These are the burgers. They have been in for about 6 hours. They have been flipped. They are quite soft, so I'm going to leave them and dehydrate for probably another couple more hours. Okay, so that's my finale beet burger finished, raw beet burger, and I've just basically dehydrated some portobello mushroom. I had flavoured it and just put some coconut aminos on it, just to flavour it and dehydrate it with sesame seeds on top. And to build it, I've just done a guacamole, some red onion, tomatoes, and a bit of lettuce, and there's a little bit of a tahini sauce underneath, which I've got a recipe on my YouTube if you want to check that one out. But there you go. It is gonna be absolutely amazing to dive into this. So yeah, I hope you found this video useful, and that you make your own raw vegan beet burger. And you don't necessarily need to be raw to enjoy this. You can put it in the oven. You can just put it in the oven and it'll work great. So and if you like these types of recipes, please check out my YouTube channel and subscribe and comment. And I also share my spiritual journey as well, so check that out. Have a blessed day.